Hey listeners, it's Paul Andriola here. Why not join our community at Small Cap Discoveries, where we offer our members direct access to some of the best microcap investment opportunities available. Our members are getting access to premium microcap financings, research reports, and direct access to management. Sign up today at www.smallcapdiscoveries.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Small Cap Discoveries conference call. Today on our call, we have CEO Dr. Thilo Senst from GBLT Corp. GBLT trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol GBLT and on the OTC under GBLTF. The company is trading at 24 cents with roughly 113 million shares outstanding, or about a $27 million market cap. I'd now like to hand it over to Paul Andriola.
Great. Thank you, Trevor. Yes, great to have Dr. Senst with us today. GBLT is a name that is somewhat familiar to some of our subscribers, as I believe some of us actually still own some shares from a little while ago. So happy to have you here, Dr. Senst. I understand you have a presentation. I'm going to hand it over to you, and we'll let you start.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. It's a pleasure to be here. I just now fight with the technology to get the presentation done. Okay, thank you very much. So here we are. Yeah, thanks a lot. My name is Thilo Senst. I'm the CEO and founder of GBLT, and I guide you through our presentation. Of course, we have the standard forward-looking statement. And yeah, who we are. We've been founded in 2003. We've been listed on the TSX.V since 2018. We are a global consumer packaged goods company with strong presence in Europe, of course. We are based here in Germany. We have a robust global distribution network, and this includes the largest retailers globally. We are offering a wide and growing range of innovative household items. And yeah, we are now starting actually in August to launch an emergency commerce strategy. Look at our turnovers. We've been growing consistently. We had 19 million in 2019. We had 24 million in 2020. And right now, I'm not allowed to say too much. We report our half-year report in 2 weeks from now, but we are still on our expected growth path. There we have an established logistic infrastructure. We're mainly working in our supply chain with big players like Daxon, like Schenker. We have a logistic and quality control system in China, which is based in Dongguan. And as I said, we're partnering up here in Europe with Daxon and with Schenker. We have an established supply manufacturer network. We have manufacturing and bottling facilities here in Europe, in Germany, and Netherlands. We're having a sourcing office and manufacturing partners in all over China. And we are now working, especially with our core business now for 15 years together with the largest privately owned battery manufacturer in Asia. So with this new partner network in place, we can supply a range of products of different kind of quality standards. We actually continue our market presentation with large retailers and distributors all over the world, mainly, of course, Europe, Middle East, North America. We daily getting new markets, including Great Britain, Italy, Switzerland, Australia, Tunisia from North Africa, Kuwait, and so on. And as mentioned, we now starting with our e-commerce strategy the second half of this year. Right now, we pretty much cover the whole world. Of course, our strongest position is actually right now in Europe, but we're having good ties to the whole African continent, to Middle East. We expect to start in Australia within the next 2-3 weeks. We're having a good customer base in Central and South America. And our weak spot, obviously, is right now United States and Canada, which we are working on the third quarter of this year. What is GBT? GBT is about 2 areas of focus. One is the mobile energy battery, our heritage, and the other one is the healthcare products. You see some of our partners, as mentioned, we mainly focusing our products to cover the needs of the big retailers, of the mass merchandisers. So that means we see our niche by supplying a product range for the big boys, for the mass retailers. And we see that they've been the open ones in the Corona time, so we could grow with them. We see some of our international customers, Bauhaus in Germany, Prisma in Finland, Sainsbury UK, Consum in Croatia, and Lidl all of Europe. Our heritage, as mentioned, is the mobile energy and battery system. We are the global licensee, the only licensee for Aquaphoto. This is an old traditional brand founded in Berlin in 1873. And this is our battery, which we are using for the export markets. What we are doing is, beside Aquaphoto as a brand, we are one of the biggest suppliers for private label. So we are having a robust network by having a branded product and having a private label product. We're having a wide range. We have a pretty much unique range. I think I would say right now we are the only one who covers the whole mobile energy market. That means we cover the market from a cheap zinc consumable battery up to a really advanced lithium storage systems, which I talk about later. This is unique in the world. Even Duracell and Energizer are not close to our range. And of course, as mentioned, we have private label battery branding for major global customers to drive the brand and the consumer loyalty. We're having different distribution channels. This private label gives us access to mass merchandisers as well as to specialized distribution channels like car manufacturers, like medical sector, or name it. We offer the full range, as mentioned, from disposable to rechargeable consumer batteries. And we're having different quality levels even for our private label customers, which is pretty unique in the world right now. When you see how we position ourselves, of course, as a German quality, as a German brand, the people expect not to be the cheapest, but they expect to be the best. We have the top quality. It's proof that we're on the same level like Energizer and Duracell, but of course for a fair price. So we have a kind of niche by offering top quality like Duracell for the price of the lower quality brands. One of our key products for the future, and actually right now, is the mobile storage systems. Based on lithium technologies, we see that this is a huge product for having energy in developed and developing countries. It's an alternative to emergency gasoline generators. You can recharge this while you are away with solar power. It has zero emissions. It has no pollution. And we see that this product really gives new opportunities in outdoor activities, disaster recovery, mobile charging, and construction site and energy supply. I mean, right now we have the wood fires in Vancouver or in North America. We have the same in Europe. Energy right now is really big issue in this because we have massive failures in electricity there. So with this mobile energy product, we can really solve a lot of issues. We talk about lithium-ion technology. I don't have to explain you that this is one of the hot items of the future. And we're having, as mentioned, branded products under the Aquaphoto brand, which is our global brand, which is a nice alternative to the other brands like Duracell. We see a nice shift in this market. More and more brands are leaving this market. And thanks to Warren Buffett's investment a few years ago, where he bought Duracell, we see now really a market which is picking up with the prices and which is picking up with the volumes. And with the private label, we have a good entrance level to enter big major merchandisers worldwide. So what is our strategy? Our strategy is direct sales to existing partnerships. We're optimizing your renewable energy and continue bringing innovations to the market. We have the first mover advantage. We are right now the only brand with this mobile storage, lithium-based mobile storage systems. And we implement right now an offline online strategy. As I said, our heritage is offline, and we now started with online as well. With these new products, we're creating new customer base, governments and NGOs. We're having big customers, NGOs in the second and the third world who are running with our mobile storage systems, water pumps, or covering energy failures in the third world. And this helps us to continue establishing the strategic partnerships to capitalizing on existing brand loyalty. The second business we are in is the healthcare products, daily protection for you and your family. This is something we started several years ago, but get more on our focus in marks thanks to Corona in the last year. The world is changing, obviously. Everybody's talking about Corona. The recognizable branding is paramount for consumers looking at consumer goods. Consumers are now more conscious about wellness and safety. And we really managed from the scratch to make Dr. Senst as a trusted brand for healthcare solutions. that include disinfections, masks, thermometers, bug sprays, and many more. And what is pretty unique for us, to our knowledge, we are right now the only brand who combine healthcare basic consumables with healthcare electronics under one brand. And there we are looking for mainly supplying the mass merchandisers, the Lidls, Walmarts, Costco's of the world, which are looking for a wide product range, but not a high product deepness. So you see some of the products there, disinfection, and then, as I said, the fever thermometers. It's a growing market. Even if when Corona is gone, the consumer behavior will be changed. If it's not COVID-19, it will be something else. The consumers are overall more mindful of staying protected, even from the common old. So PPE has become and will be more part of the family shopping cart. Of course, the volume will go down compared with Corona, but it will go back to a much higher level than before Corona, and it will be a constant growth market. So here are some of the products. We took advantage and Mark's advantage of the Corona in March 2020 when we started with the Dr. Senst mask. We noticed that there are a lot of product categories in the healthcare market which are fragmented. So we have just one global brand or one strong brand in the market, and the rest is private label, so nothing in between. And this is something which the big mass merchandisers hate like hell. They want to play with the suppliers, so they need a B brand, they need a second brand, and we really managed to get a niche. So we started with the Dr. Senst branded mask. We directly looked what markets, what product categories could be helpful with us as well, which products we have access to innovations, which could be pretty unique for us. So we looked for German quality products at an affordable price. And we started with the mask partnering with our Asian distributors, with our Asian manufacturer partners, where we directly work with the big boys, so with companies like Xenopax, so with the multi-billion-dollar companies, so that we never had any issues about quality and certificates. And yeah, we started to sign major partners with this product. And as mentioned, we really looked for fragmented products. So for example, we started then with the fever thermometer, which is run here in Germany mainly by Philips and Bräuninger, and then we have no really B brand. We see the same with the insect repellents and with the hearing aid batteries, all parts where you have one or two players and there's enough space for a clear B brand. So we look, for us, it's not just about having consumables. For us, of course, is to have unique products. So the key thing for our liquids is that we have a patented antimicrobial technology, which allows us to extend the duration of the active ingredients of all kinds of liquids. So the first two products where we entered the market was the disinfection. The disinfection, our disinfection is the only disinfection in the world who has a protection time of up to 10 days. Usually after 5 to 10 minutes when the alcohol is gone, bacteria can grab the surface again. Our is blocked up for 10 days. We have a high quality with a 99.9 effectiveness. Our products are medical grade tested, and we have all dermatological A-tested products which are good for your skin. The other product category we will start this year is the insect repellent. You see in these global warming times, mosquitoes, wasps, the whole insect stuff is picking up massively. We see a high demand with this. And again, thanks to our patented system, we are the only insect repellent right now on the market who is not lasting just for 6 to 8 hours, which is lasting up to 24 hours. So especially when you're with your kids in vacation, you know the difference, with the hell of the difference which it makes if you just have to take care of your kids just one time a day and not 3 or 4 times. So talking about our financials, as mentioned, we had in 2019 around 20 million turnover, in 2020 nearly 24. We step by step increasing our gross margin. We had a fantastic first quarter 2021. So you see we had a growth from about 6 million, from 2.6 to 8.8. We continue in our approach to increase our gross margin, and we really continue our trend for the turnaround after losses in 2019 to be a solid, profitable company in 2020. And we don't have any doubts that this will continue in 2021. And the first quarter 2021 was already, a good sign for us. So we expect for this year around 30 million euros turnover, and for 2020, 42 million. And you see some of the press releases which shows already that we have several million in our books for next year and several million for the rest of the year. So we are pretty excited and pretty satisfied with the actual ongoing year and our outlook. The management team, it's me, I'm the founder, chairman, and CEO. Then we're having Sven Cabo, my CEO, Kai, the CFO based in Toronto. And we're having, since last year, we're having Peter Helfert, which was the former CSO of a big competitor. He's now with us. He's one of the key players for us. He helped us to get a lot of new big mass merchandisers, and he has good access to 19 of the 20 biggest mass merchandisers here in Europe. So the capital structure right now, we have a market capitalization of just 26.1 million. We have around 113 million shares outstanding. We have some options, 4.5 million. And just point out the insider ownership, the 63% is solely me. So it's nobody else, it's me and then the normal shareholders at the stock. Yeah, this is it. Thanks a lot for your time. This was in a short nutshell the presentation of GBLT, and I'm of course now more than happy to answer your questions.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Senst. I want to remind everybody who's listening, if you've got any questions you'd like me to ask Doctor, please use the chat function and I'll do my best to have the question answered. Why don't we just jump into something that you talked about a little bit, but COVID. You do sell into sort of the COVID space through PPE products and things like that, but give us a better sense of how COVID has affected the operations of the business, if at all, especially since you're sourcing product from so many different places. Do you see issues with sourcing product? If there's restrictions, tell us what you can about how COVID's affecting you guys.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, of course, we've been suffering last year about COVID as well. I mean, for our core business, batteries are light. We had many customers all over the world who simply had to close their shops. The economic was going down. So, of course, we lost millions in turnover the last year, thanks and marks to COVID in our core business. But fortunately, as mentioned, we've been able to use COVID as a ramp to ramp up our new healthcare product systems. But with the mask, of course, we find our entrance level. But all the products beside the mask being based on the idea that the healthcare segment will be grow, and that we are having products which are not related to COVID, which has nothing to do, just simply which are fitting to the new mind setting of the people to taking more care of their health, but which are not related to COVID. So a nice role model, for example, and this is what I can openly say because we had the press releases already. We started with Lidl with the masks last year with 40 million masks, which was a big door opener. And yeah, the third biggest mask merchandiser of the world liked the Dr. Senst brand. He liked the idea to have a new global brand, and they are now one of our biggest supporters. I mean, they did 500,000 fever thermometers this year. And again, you can say 500,000 fever thermometers, it's 4 million euros turnover, it's Corona related. We thought the same. But as a matter of fact, we now announced that we have a 635,000 order for next year. Nobody's talking about Corona. So out of the scratch, we're now having 20 to 25% of market share of the total European market with infrared. So this is a nice proof that this is an ongoing market. When you look, for example, fever thermometer, this market is expected to grow from 1.3 billion to 2.4 billion until 2028. It's a niche market, but with 2.5 billion and no really clear global player, it's a great opportunity for us. And it's the same with the other products, disinfection. The big retailers, they all have disinfection products in their shelf space even before Corona. It's a standard commodity for your household. And with Corona and with the mask, with the Dr. Senst mask and with this brand, we had this as a kind of entrance level. Now the people listen to us, they give us opportunity, they like the brand. And so we get our position now for after the Corona time to find our space at the shelf space. The same is with the insect repellent, for example. This came not out of the blue, this came with this patented system. It's a great market. We're having in Europe just one player, which is Johnson & Johnson, which is Autan, and the rest is private label. So our customers, the Costco's, Lidl, Walmart of the world, they are hungry for a nice brand, for a clear, nice brand, which they can use, because private label, they all don't like. They make no money with private label. And with brand, they just rely to one. And believe me, a $150 billion company like Lidl hates to rely on just one company. So they really wide open the door for us and asking us for more and more and more. And we see the same with many other retailers. So Corona was a ramp for us for entering the market, but we definitely not rely on that.
So you touched on a little bit of my next question. How do you determine what new products to launch? Is it requests from your sort of call it your customers, these retailers? Are they looking to you and say, hey, we need a new version of this, or we need something like that? And then if that's the case, how do you go and source it, or how do you get around to actually delivering a product?
No, so first of all, we decide what product we want to go. We look what products we have access to. We look where we have a really good quality to reliable price. So it really has to match with our opportunities. And then we introduce this. I mean, with this patented technology, as mentioned, we have in liquids, we're having all kinds of liquids in place. So this starts with disinfection. This is insect repellent. That could be for shoes and disinfection. So all kinds of liquids can work with this. In electronical, as I said, our heritage is batteries. So of course, it's our nature that we're looking for healthcare products which are in need of batteries, like an infrared fever thermometer. So this fits to our product range. This fits to our heritage, and this combination of electronical and consumables is pretty unique. And this is exactly what the people are looking to. So we listen to our customers as well. And for example, if a big customer like Walmart comes to us and said, can you give us 2 million blood pressure systems or whatsoever, we will have a clear look about this, of course. But right now, what we're doing right now is that we offer our range of products. But the most important thing is, all big retailers in the world have one thing in common. They want to have more and more products thanks to the pressure of Amazon, but they don't want to have more vendors, because the vendors cost them money, cost them time, and cost them logistics. So it's really totally different than 8 years ago. 8 years ago, when you offer the wide range of products to a mass merchandiser, said, what the hell? What is your specialty? What can you do? Now it's the other way around. Now they say, you must help us to increase our product range. What else do you have? So it's really now the way, totally different than 5, 6, 7 years ago. We're getting daily from the big mass merchandisers emails where they ask us, can you help us? Where they ask us, Dr. Senst is such a nice brand. What else do you have? Because they have to increase their range from 30, 40,000 articles to 60, 100,000 like Amazon is doing. But they cannot double or triple their vendors. So they go into existing, and we have existing vendor numbers due to our licensing list system, like with Agfa, and due to our private label batteries from the past. So for us, it's an easy way to enter more and more products in the big channels.
Try to explain to us, if you can, sort of the competitive landscape. Like how should an investor look at how you guys compete with who your other product competitors are? Are you a small person in a small company against major organizations, or are you nimble? Is that your advantage competitively, that you can go after new things quicker than some of the big players? Just give us a better sense of the competitive landscape and maybe even barrier to entry of any kind.
No, it's for sure. We see ourselves as a speedboat. I mean, we are not big tanker. We see ourselves as a flexible speedboat. And we're having obviously a lot of advantage. We have sometimes the same working bench, the same factories like all big manufacturers. So we have the same quality level, probably maybe sometimes the same amount of products we are taking from them. But we always have a price advantage due to our size. We don't have to feed 100,000 people by selling one product. At the other hand, we have to split. When we look at Agfa Photo, it's well known that there's a consolidation in the market. Duracell was bought by Warren Buffett 2-3 years ago. Energizer just bought now Rayovac. Sony left the market. Panasonic has been sold here in Europe to an investor group. What we see right now, the alkaline batteries, the batteries is still a growing market, but less and less players. And to our knowledge right now with Agfa, we are now the only German brand in the global market. Because with that Energizer took up Rayovac, Vata is part of Rayovac, is not allowed to sell everywhere in the world anymore. So it's giving us more and more opportunities. And for us, of course, it's great. Since Warren Buffett took Duracell, he cut the product range, he increased the prices. And it's always great when the big boats making nice waves and you can pass between the waves. So Duracell energizers are giving us more and more space, which is really exciting for us right now, especially in this battery segment, which is not as sexy as the other part, but it's a good business for us. And with the healthcare, as I said, we are surprised how many fragmented markets there be. When you look at insect repellent, you have Autan from Johnson & Johnson and private label, nothing in between. Keep in mind, in ketchup, in cars, in whatever consumers you have always 8, 9, 10, 15 brands in the supermarket chain. When you go through Europe to find an insect repellent, you find Autan and private label, nothing in between. It's the same with the fever thermometer. You find here Philips or Bräuninger and some cheap crap and nothing in between. So we're looking for this fragmented market. These are all markets with a global size of around 2 to 6 billion US for the whole world. But I mean, you can easily count if we enter 15, 16 markets and just having 2% market share, we are at 9 digits in a relatively short period. And thanks to our infrastructure, we can handle this without doubling or tripling our working force, because most of our costs we have outsourced. So our turnover doesn't mean that we have massively more costs.
Good. So you touched on just that. That was going to be one of my other questions. Was give me a sense of sort of your labor force, what it looks like, and if you're outsourcing, where is there any bottlenecks if you were to grow rapidly? Where do you see the challenges in terms of scaling?
I mean, we have a big issue right now, and this is what everybody noticed, is the logistic right now from Asia. I mean, this is well known. The prices for the container went up dramatically. Even to get a container is a disaster. And I would say that would not touch our business. I mean, because we are small and flexible, we always found our avenues. But of course, this is definitely a bottleneck. But the good thing is everybody is suffering with this. All of our competition is getting the products from there as well. So we are not the only one who's suffering. And we could be even faster sometimes than the others. We see a lot of big boys who are out of stock with their Panasonic or with their Vata branded batteries. And we now fill these niches because we are a little bit faster. But definitely the logistics from Asia is a bottleneck. And this is the reason why we are so happy that we start with Dr. Senst products, especially with the liquids, which are all made in Germany. So in the future, we try to balance to make more turnover with products we manufacturing and bottling here in Germany, so that we don't rely as much as we did in the past from Asia. We cannot avoid to rely on Asia, because we're having great partnerships there. We do this for 20 years with great prices, great quality. But as I said, more and more products coming here from Germany, from Europe, and we level this off. And as mentioned, we are not the only one who will touch. All of our competitors touch as well. We don't have any battery manufacturer here in Germany or in Europe. So everybody runs into the same problems.
Let's talk about your sort of the balance sheet right now. How do you view the balance sheet right now? Do you think you might need any funding to fuel the continued growth in the business, or inventory? Just give us a sense of how the balance sheet looks.
For organic growth, for reaching our goals, reaching our numbers, we don't need any money. We had a good year last year, and it's really the way due to our systems. The money we are earning is really in our system. That means when we make $1 million profit, we have $1 million at the bank account, and not like somebody else in stock or in warehouse and open credit terms. So it's money in our bank. So for the growth numbers we passing to our investors, we are fine. We don't need any funding. What we have to say is we are a little bit overwhelmed by the success of the Dr. Senst brand. I must honestly tell you. I mean, being just with 2 shipments, 25% market share in all of Europe. It's outstanding. This year and last year, we get a lot of really big players. But as I said, our strategy is to work with mass merchandisers, but we've been really touched by really big boys in the last months. And one order of them is around 40, 50, 60% sometimes of our actual turnover. That means to reach our goals, we are fine. We don't need any extra funding. To double or triple our goals, we need extra funding. Simple like this. And this is something we have to work out with our partners, with Virtus advice and so on, how fast we want to grow. This is the decision we can play on. So for organic growth, as it is right now, we don't need money. For double, triple our expectations, which is easy possible, of course, we would need some extra working capital, because especially with the new products, we're having registrations costs, we're having starting costs, which are of course, when you enter the market with new products, is different than to grow with a battery or with a product you're having for 15, 16 years already.
How should investors look at the sort of the growth drivers of the business? The way I see it is, you guys you're growing your product line, so there's a number of new products that are out there. Clearly, you're trying to sell more of each product, but you're also growing your sort of your retail, retail breadth, if you want to call it that. Is that the way to look at it? Like, explain where you see the growth really coming and where you're going to emphasize.
I think we are in a comfortable situation that all product categories are still big growth possibilities for us. As mentioned, the battery market is really hot right now with a lot of development, which we didn't see 1 or 2 years ago. The market just the last months had changed tremendously. So we think that we have a great opportunity with the Aquaphoto brand to grow. The private label battery brand, which is right now one of our key drivers, is something we are not focusing, honestly spoken, because private label is a great opportunity to the entire customer, but the margins are really low, and private label doesn't create any loyalty. So we try to focus on the Aquaphoto brand, doing the private label opportunistic, and then with the healthcare, we are really looking for fragmented product categories, increasing our existing range. So that doesn't mean that we're having 25 or 50 different products, but as I mentioned, we now started with fever thermometers with infrared, and of course it makes sense to increase the line to the 2-3 other standard one. I mean, infrared fever thermometers are just 14% of the global market, so it makes sense to end Dr. Senst fever thermometers with a technology which covers the other 85%. And as I said, with the liquids, it's the same. When you're in the disinfection or in the cleaning segment, you're having all kinds of specialized things. You're having standard disinfection, you have disinfection with alcohol, with water, hand sanitizer. So there are a lot of products around which we are building up. So right now we see the growth for the future with the Aquaphoto brand in batteries, and with the Dr. Senst in the healthcare products, and then we are focusing on fragments. So we're not going in markets where there's a high competition. So we will never do, for example, normal cleaning stuff for dishwasher or whatsoever. There you're having in Germany Henkel, Johnson & Johnson, Bayer. There we're having, as mentioned, 15 different competitors. So we're looking carefully where we see 2 or 3 competitors. The rest is private label. And when we're having a benefit that we have a unique selling point, like the patented technology, or by having the best technology for the best price, then we jump in this market.
Mm-hmm. And earlier in the presentation, you mentioned I think you just launched in Australia and you're hoping to launch into North America. Give us a sense of how hard is it to move into a new geographic market?
It's depending on the market. I would say that America or Canada is the same like Australia or like the rest of the world. Especially North America is as we say, a tough cookie. And Australia is pretty easy. I mean, it's an easy story. We did the same in the past already. It's simply the former Varta distributor. And the same happened in the past when Pliomax, Samsung escaped the market, when Sony escaped the market. We just go in, we're just checking the internet and having a look, where is the local distributor of Sony, of Panasonic, and now of Varta, approaching them, and then they are more than happy to have an alternative, because Varta will stop supplying them because they have been taken over by Energizer. Same like with Pliomax. So we at one hand we're checking via internet or via our contacts the existing distribution force of our competitors, which are leaving the market. So this is easy job and relatively easy when it comes about batteries. And with the healthcare products, of course, we are right now focusing mainly on Europe. That's for sure, because with this you have bioseed registrations, you have a lot of more regulations and issues than with electronic products. So you have to split this a little bit. The electronic business with Dr. Senst goes with the batteries. As I said, products are battery used. So we are surprised how many of our potential partners are interested in electronicals as well. When it comes about the liquid, we're focusing on Europe. And one last thing is, keep in mind, AGFA is a licensing system. The AGFA itself, as a multi-billion-dollar company, is a medical company based in Belgium. And that means if we approach a typical AGFA distributor which is working with the AGFA head office in Brussels, they know how to work with medicals, because AGFA is manufacturing diagnostic systems, big X-ray machines and all this kind of stuff, but they don't have any consumables. So funny enough, even the AGFA word we can use for our Dr. Senst healthcare products, because we have the consumables for the customers of AGFA.
Very interesting. Why don't we take some questions from the listeners here? The first question is one that I think we touched on a little bit, but I'll give you a chance maybe to answer it again. And the question is, are there barriers to entry in your business?
Yes, the biggest barrier for my business, and this is something we see by we having a lot of opportunities right now, and why we are one of the most loved partners, is vendor numbers and listings. Right now, we've been killed by big companies outside of Germany, outside of Europe, from North American companies, from Canadian, from Japanese, from Chinese companies, who wants us to distribute their products. But we are not a distributor, we are manufacturing. But I can tell you frankly, we're having glue manufacturers who are the number one in the United States or wherever. What you need is having a good product, having good quality means nothing. You have to have access to the key people, to the purchasing departments of the big mass merchandisers, and they are not open for new businesses. They're not open. You don't get any feet in the door. And so the biggest barrier right now for our business here in Europe is by far definitely the vendor numbers and the listings. Keep in mind, we are founded in 2003, so we built up for 17 years. And the heritage of our company is based from 1901. So my former company was a factory for photographic material. We made color negative films. So we have a long history, for minimum 50 years here in Germany, to work with the big mass merchandisers in Europe and worldwide. This is one barrier. And the other barrier right now is, as mentioned, as Richard Digest said, we trust in brands which are with us for the longest time. Entering the battery market, for example, as a really conservative market, which is there for a long time, with a no-name brand is nearly impossible. So you have to have a brand which creates trust. Our brand is since 1873, and our brand is a German naming. So this helps us a lot in the second and third world, where the people still have a high impression from German products or from German branded products. And having the last German branded battery on the market gives us a lot of credibility as well.
Fair enough. Perfect. Okay, so the next question is, can you tell us more about the private Chinese battery maker? Can you compare what this company does to, I think, a company called Contemporary Amperex Technologies?
I don't know the other company, but our core business, our heritage is consumable batteries, normal AA, AAA is normal battery business. And as you know, I'm in China now since 1996. And in 1998, I met a friend who just started with his first private Chinese factory for batteries. Till 1998, 1999, it was on the hands by the government. And due to his father was the Secretary of the State responsible for this product, he was allowed to start the first private battery manufacturing process in China, and he directly was started with Japanese and Canadian machines. So he wanted to directly make Western-style quality and not the creepy stuff we've been used to have from China. David, the CEO and chairman, is now a close friend for me for 20 years, and we started together. And he had at this time 2 million turnover, and we had 4 million turnover. And he went public a few months ago, and he's now with 280 million turnover, the biggest private label, the biggest battery factory owned by a private person in the world. And he's still my friend. We never shopped around. We're doing the things together. We approach the customers together. And for example, if the purchase director of Walmart comes to us, we fly to China, and David says, you know, Thilo is the owner of the company. I do whatever he says, and you can trust him. So there's really, it's a close friendship relationship, and we as mentioned, we never shopped around. He never gave us any bad quality or bad prices. And while companies like Tesco or Asda talk with the sales guys, with the sales team, we talk with the CEO, with the chairman, the main shareholder. So it's really close relationship, and which gives us a great access. We're having an office there, which helps us with resourcing. We're making the quality control with other products together with them. So it's great. I mean, they have a stock exchange value of more than 1 billion. So it's really great to have a friend there as a partner and be having a strong base there. He gives us good products for our basic business, but he gives us a good starting point to look for new alternatives as well. And we get a lot of credibility in Asia by having him as a friend.
Fantastic. Yeah, definitely helps to have friends like that, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so another question. Have your shipping costs increased as a result of COVID? And if so, have these impacted sales and or margins?
Yeah, no doubt. I cannot lie. Just the container cost for 40-feet container went up from $6,000 last year to $19,000. And getting containers is difficult. We could be even more profitable, and we could be even having more turnover if this logistic issues would not be there. Especially because some of our products, that's the lithium products or the rechargeable products, are considered as dangerous goods. When it comes about filling container, and there's not enough containers, the dangerous goods are always the products to stay at the harbor. So yeah, we're suffering with this. I mean, you will see our numbers. You see our first Q1. You will see our Q2 and the first half-year report in 1 week. We are really happy with this, but honestly spoke, we could be even stronger in both in turnover profitability if we would not have this issue. I just read an article this year that this is expected to be coming down beginning of next year, because we're now in the Christmas season. We started now in the second half, 1st of August, to increase our prices. We could not do this in the first half year because of our contractual situation, and we blocked some of our big businesses with backed up currency, which didn't give us some flexibility. But we're now starting to increase our margins by increasing the price. And it was, honestly spoken, never easier to increase the price right now, because everybody has to do this. It doesn't cost us any customer. We don't have to be afraid that somebody was jumping in, because everybody has to do this. But this measurements we just could do now for the second half of the year, not for the first half.
Gotcha. Okay, so I've got a question here that I was going to ask, so I'll let Jennifer ask us. You're a European-based business, and you're listed on the TSX Venture Exchange. How does something like this happen?
Yeah, it was the way that our heritage, or the reason for being listed, was our new lithium storage system. Something which I should maybe work out a little bit more in my presentation for next time. This is pretty unique. I mean, this lithium system really could replace the generators of the future. And when we looked around to which stock place we should go, we've been advised that Canada's raw material stock exchange historically, and but they wanted to shift this because raw material itself, I mean, you saw that it wasn't up and down the last years. One of the big winners of the raw material the last years been lithium mining. So we had some advisors who had some good investors in Canada who made good money with lithium mining, and our products getting a product out of lithium. Having lithium as a raw material is one thing, but having a product which gets some traction to this product is the other thing. And right now, everybody was just talking about cars and about smartphones, but we're using this technology for something in between, for a unique new product. So the idea was that we would have some good base for lithium-affine investors in Canada, more than here in Germany, because Germany are really old-fashioned. I mean, now with Tesla, they start spelling lithium, but 2 or 3 years ago, I mean, you see just the Green Party is just talking about cobalt, so they don't understand this. So German was out of that. And the other is we started this product under the Polaroid license here. Originally, we had a Polaroid brand name, the license brand name. So we had a North American name anyhow. So having a North American name, having a product which is especially good for North American market, And then, of course, I tell you frankly, Canada was, of course, a bit cheaper than going to the New York Stock Exchange. But it was clear for us to be in North America, so that's why we picked up Toronto then, or TSX.V.
Fantastic. Very sort of semi-last question here, but where do you envision GBLT will be in 5 years? What's the company going to look like in 5 years?
Well, I mean, honestly spoken, when I look around the markets, where we are right now, when I look at our competition, when I look at other mid-sized companies who are making, we are in 4 or 5 product categories, and we're seeing companies you probably never heard before making 100 million, 200 million with an EBITDA of 20 million euros just in one small part of us, without having unique selling point. For example, right now, just SOS, a competitor of us in the healthcare segment, which you never heard about, who's just selling in Germany, being sold for 900 million by having 250 million turnover, but 27 million EBITDA. So this shows the potential in each segment we are in. What our prognosis, what you saw in the presentation, we see ourselves in 5 years of around 100 million, 150 million euros turnover, organic growth, so around in Canadian, around 180 to 200 million Canadian, with a solid 8 to 11% EBITDA. But honestly spoken, I would be disappointed if you would be just there. But in these days, taking your mouth with too many pieces, I mean, conservatively, we will go with a 100 million in 5 years and around 10, 15 million EBITDA. But I would be disappointed if we would just be there, because around us, the market is really turning more and more in our favor. And every morning we are surprised how the market changed in every product category we're in our favor. It's miraculous in some ways. So let's see, maybe we do some extra funding that, as I mentioned, we can grow anyhow, but organically we see ourselves there in 5 years.
Fantastic. So as investors, what do you think we should pay the most attention to really understand whether you're executing on your business plan? Now, it's easy to say, we'll just look at the revenues, but is there anything else we should be watching closely to really understand if you guys are, hitting your milestones?
I think what I was surprised and what I see is what really helps me. One thing is, of course, the pure turnover. But I think especially with our e-commerce strategy, we are now starting, and by really supplying now branded products to the big mass merchandisers, I think we can now start for the first time since we've been founded to look in market shares. I think we really have the chance in some of our fields to be a really, truly global, significant player in reaching some market shares. For example, with Dr. Senst, we now reach from France a big demand. The Lidl France told us that the French people love our brand and that they want more and more. And working with these partners gives us directly market shares. Right now, for example, we're doing with big mass merchandisers like Rewe, 10 million in private label batteries. But this is their brand, it's their battery. So I cannot say I have 5% market share. But by focusing more and more on our own brands like Dr. Senst, like Aqua, I think we come to the point where the investors see in internet, magazines, more and more our branded products on a global base. And I think besides the turnover and our profitability, I think they will see more and more of our products at the shelf space, maybe at the beginning more in Europe than in North America, obviously. But I think we will be in a short run or mid-sized run, we will be a significant player at the shelf space of the mass merchandisers here. And so we talk about market shares and not just about turnover.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're about to wrap up. What we always like to do at the end is give the presenter just a chance to sort of leave a parting message or something you want the investors to really sort of walk away with. Let us know what that is. Let us know what we should really understand about GBLT as we wrap up here.
For me, it's really important to understand, especially with the healthcare segment, we talked about this several times, that our business is not based on Corona. Corona will be gone, we will stay. We will not just stay, we will be growth. It's important that the people see that we are not just filling the market with consumables, we're having unique selling points. We're having the best price, the best quality, or unique selling point by quality. But we never just being number 10 or number 11 of the market. We're always focusing to be one of the key players. We're always focusing on categories and products where we can have a significant market shares. And it's important that people understand, even in this globalized world where everybody thinks everybody knows everything, you will be surprised how many fragmented, how many niche markets they are still existing, nobody touched. And we are going for them.
Fantastic. Dr. Thilo Senst, thank you so much. I understand it's late where you are right now, so
no
I
problem,
appreciate your time. It's been great to catch up and to learn more about GBLT. If somebody wants more information, what's your website address, or how best should they reach out to contact you guys?
I mean, the best to see what we are doing is when you go to our website, which is gbt-international.com. There you see our products. Of course, we have an investor website, which is GBLT-Corp.com. But if you go on the gbt-international.com, you got a much better impression about our company. And from there, you'll be guided to our specialized divisions as well. You'll be guided to the Agfa photo page, you'll be guided to the Dr. Senst page. So to get a great impression of our company, go to gbt-international.com.
Fantastic. Dr. Thilo Senst, CEO of GBLT Corp, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to catching up in the future.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time, and have a great day, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.